Good people, it's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house, back in the saddle one more again, and we still suffering from the hangover of Sunday night, the game, and this hangover is the aftermath of all that. We're gonna talk about a couple things now. We're gonna talk about um, the fact that we uh, first of all, the reactions is still raw from after that game. We'll talk about Micah and Debo having a back and forth on Instagram. And looking forward, it's been reported that Zeke is out of his guaranteed money on his 6 year, $90 million contract he signed back in 2019. It was 4 years ago now. And he's made a declaration of what he's wanting to do going forward. And we're going to talk about looking at the team we actually put forth, and we're going to kind of expound on this in a couple of different angles. Did we really put the best team forward to go win that game up in Santa Clara on Sunday? And it's just easy just to blame Dak for everything. And we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna throw some stats at you too to show you that maybe they kind of didn't give Dak everything he needed to have to do what he needed to do. And we're gonna show you some stuff and talk about some stuff they did in the offseason. And they kind of threw Dak under the bus on the team's social media publication, which I thought was kind of dirty pool. I mean, don't get me wrong, Dak played a bad game, but he wasn't the only one that did some stuff that may have could have cost us or given us a chance to win the game. So and we're gonna talk about some of that too, and how in this thing where teams do things to make you fans think worse of their players. I don't like that kind of stuff. We're gonna talk about that too. But let's get at that. And here in just a minute, we're gonna talk about all those things and here and more on this hangover Wednesday. Let's talk about it.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
What's good, people? It's your boy Uncle Fred back in the house, back in the saddle one more again with content. And boy, it's still hard to remember or think about what happened on Sunday, man. As a Cowboy fan, 46 years, man. And I kind of thought this might be the year. And I know it's been 28 years before we got to a conference championship game, and even longer. We won a Super Bowl, so I know every year it's our year, and every year it seems not to be. And anyway, let's go on and look at that now. I know after the game, emotions was raw. I heard some stuff about some people smashing TVs and beating up folks. And look, man, it's a game, man. It's the end of the day. And I know I was hot. I didn't want to be talking to nobody either. But at the end of the day, it's just a game, man. It's just a game. Yeah, we put now emotionally invested in it, and I put all this stuff that we do here in the support of the Cowboys. And shoot, I'm small potatoes, man. Some dudes like Cowboy Fan Talk and guys like Mark Holmes, and I mean they put out some serious money and some serious things to put together their cowboy content production, and guys like Law Nation and Vosh Lombardi, which I look at a lot of those. Mike Fisher, but Mike Fisher kind of works for them, kind of sort of. So it ain't really coming out of his pocket to do a lot of this stuff. So, but anyway, man, let's talk about this thing. And I know we went through all the stuff. Now, supposedly there was some Twitter or Instagram back and forth that went on between Micah Parsons and Debo Samuels. I want to say Monday or Tuesday. And Debo was, which I mean, hey, where I grew up, man, if you win, you get to talk. And he was talking about, them getting the victory and all this kind of stuff. And we shut the Cowboys down and whatever, did this, whatever. And of course now Micah being I guess the sore loser. But look, I like that fight in him though. But he's like, look, fam, what did you do? And see, I mean, Debo had like 4 catches for like 35 yards or something like that. But hell, he would have been our second leading receiver on our team behind CD because our receivers didn't do nothing. We'll get to that in a minute. But look, man, where I come from, man, look, you lose as a man. You look, man, you talk junk when you're winning. When you don't win, you let them other folks talk. If let them troll, let them do all that stuff because they won. To the victor goes the spoils. That's part of being a man. You grow up, you be a man. You take your lumps, you talk your stuff. But if you lose, you got to eat that stuff. That's just part of it. It's like, hey man, we didn't get it done, and so there's that. So I hope they get that squashed, and because they really, it's just what it is, man. But anyway. And then we found out on Tuesday that the Cowboys social media publication basically, let's see, did I have it up here? I think I might say that basically the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott gave the game away with 2 costly interceptions that cost us the game, or something to that effect. Here we go, right here. And a lot of the public is really backlash against the Cowboys because you really don't see teams do that. Okay, don't get me wrong. Now I went on the air and I was really critical of Dak and how he played because I thought he really could have played better. Nobody was asking him to throw for 300 yards and whatnot, but the interceptions were avoidable. And that without those interceptions, we might have had a chance to win that game. But Cowboys slammed for throwing Dak under the bus in a rant, basically saying that I'll find it here. Says here that I'll find it here. Go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, they threw him under the bus and basically said that he basically gave the game away. And Dak Prescott gave away the ball twice in a narrow loss to the 49ers and match up with the Cowboys and a chance that didn't get a chance to win if they didn't generate self-inflicted wounds. The offensive tweet read. Of course, to Shannon Sharp, who's not really a proponent of Dak Prescott, didn't like that they did that to them. And let me tell you why you don't do that. And I know, and I listened to Mike Fisher. He said, well, Cowboys publication has been given the license for Jerry Jones to be just as critical of their players as they can be or whatever. And they've given them the license to do that. Toughen up, tough skin. Yeah, okay. Just because that's what's accepted in the Cowboys vernacular may not be accepted in the free world, because let me tell you what that is. Let me tell you how that's a bad idea to do that. Now you already know that the public already has a bad perception of Dak Prescott because I listen to the rants. I listen to the stuff. Y'all were chatting with me the other day. I saw some stuff and look, I was critical too, and I've been one of the biggest Dak supporters ever. But I got to call things like what he didn't play well. He threw 2 picks. The 2 picks were costly in a tight game. Can't throw the ball away. Some of them just lackadaisical. Dude, you got to do better than that. Okay. Having said that, that wasn't the only reason why we lost. We also lost, and where I was giving Kellen Moore dap for, being creative. That was creative as long as Tony Pollard was in the game. When Tony Pollard went out of the game and we had no threat of the run or nothing like that, man, he kept throwing these 5-6 yard button hook routes. They never did challenge the 49ers down the field at all. Okay. CD Lamb, I think, had about 7 catches, like 100 and some odd yards and whatever. And I think, and then I think Noah Brown had like 2 catches. I think Dalton Schultz had like 5 catches for like 40 yards or something like that. And then Michael Gallup, our number 2 receiver, didn't even have a catch. So, but what did you design for them? So I was real, I guess applauding Kellen Moore because on those 2 drives, the one that we scored the touchdown on, and then the drive up until Dak threw the interception in the second quarter, man, that was some of the most creative play calling, misdirection, zone read stuff, and sleight of hand, all that kind of stuff. I thought it was instrumental in us getting those 2 drives going. And but when Tony Pollard went out, man, the game got real predictable and stuff. So, but there were other reasons why we didn't win the game. You know, in the third quarter on that big like 30-yard pass play to George Kittle, Trayvon Diggs didn't get a hit on him, knocked that ball away. That ball got tipped up in the air like 2-3 times. That ball was in the air like 3-4 seconds. You're never gonna be that much open in an NFL game. And I'm gonna ask you a question. If Dalton Schultz was running in the middle of the field and tipped the ball up 2-3 times, you think they're gonna let him come down with it? Or he gonna get blasted? What do you think's gonna happen? Trayvon Diggs coming in trying to avoid the collision. What are you doing? Knock that ball out of his hands. You know? But whatever, man. So that's a reason. And of course, later in that same drive, Anthony Barr got a tip on a pass thrown by Purdy. Ball hits Diggs right in the hands. And he lets it slide right down and it don't get caught. There was a play also, I believe, on that drive. The play where Micah hip tossed the left guard, the right guard, and went in to hit Purdy to the side and hit his arm. I think Curse could have intercepted that ball. That ball was awry. It could have got picked, but it didn't. You know, for all these things, people saying, well, Purdy didn't put the ball in harm's way. Well, he very well could have, but we didn't make the plays when the balls got tipped or when the balls got hit or when he got knocked off course. And so, and then of course now we had an opportunity to get off the field with just a field goal in the third quarter on that one touchdown drive by the 49ers. But Malik Hooker grabs George Kittle when he just could have just ran with him. You only like on the 12-yard line. It ain't like he's going to beat you for 50 yards. He's only a couple of yards down the field. And we got sacked on that play. And that was third down. They would have been kicking a field goal. But they got a first down. They ended up getting a touchdown on that drive. So it's a lot of little things that didn't go our way in addition to Dak throwing those two picks, that if we get those things right, man, maybe we still win that game, maybe. But yeah, I don't like the way they did Dak on that, even though I'm not letting Dak off the hook on none of that stuff, but I think as a team, you kind of can't do that. Because I guarantee you, just like I'm gonna give you a comparison. I guarantee you in the Buffalo Bills team social media thing, they're not gonna put Josh Allen on the thing, looking sitting down with his head down like that and saying those disparaging thing about him. And Josh Allen really it should be just as vilified as Dak Prescott. You had a game in your own building. You had the whole world basically giving you the AFC Championship game, making concessions for you because of the Damar Hamlin thing. You basically, because they didn't want to upset your feathers, they basically told Kansas City that they wouldn't host the AFC Championship game if Buffalo was in it. They would have to have it in a neutral site in Atlanta. And they had that thing set out. All you had to do was beat Cincinnati in your building in the driving snow. And what did you do? You came up short and y'all scored 10 points. Okay? And unlike Dak, the Buffalo Bills have given Josh Allen everything. All right? Giving him a number 2, number 3 in the NFL receiver with Stephon Diggs. He's as good as anybody in the NFL. He's paid like it, okay? He's paid, okay? And they also got him Von Miller and some other players on defense. That's supposed to be the best roster in the NFL. That's why they was listed as Super Bowl favorites all season. And they scored 10 points against Cincinnati on their own field. Cincinnati went up and down the field, and Cincinnati and the Bills couldn't score but 10 points. Okay? Now, Josh Allen's been in the league almost as long as Dak has. He came in the league the next year. He got drafted in 2017. Okay? All right? The year after Dak. All right? He's done no more than Dak has done. All right? Now, he's been to an AFC Championship game. That's about the only thing. But he's gone home early every year. He's gotten the divisional round, and that's it, 2 years and lost. All right? What a great team around him. Okay? But they're not slamming him in the Bills publications. They're not going to do it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not slamming Tom Brady in their publications. Okay, even though he played bad all season. Okay, you just don't do that. And I'm gonna tell you why you don't do it. It's just because you allowed yourself to get pissy. You allowed yourself to get emotional in your thing. The same way that you got emotional in the Amari Cooper thing, and you let it be known to everybody that would listen that you're pissed off at Amari Cooper. And I'm not upset with you for being upset with him, but you can't show it. You be mad behind the scenes, but in front of people, you happy, man. He's our guy. Because you know why? At some point, you might have to trade him. And if people know you don't want to keep a guy, they're going to give you, what do we get? A 5th-round draft pick for a 1,000-yard receiver. May as well just giving him to him because you got pissy with it. Okay? Now you're getting pissy with that. Now at some point you might have to trade that. You know what you're going to get for that? Maybe a 4th-round pick for a dude you're paying $100 million to because you get pissy. You got emotional with your stuff. I know you're upset. We're all upset. But some point in time, you might want to point the finger at the front office as much as you want to point towards that. But I did not like that. I did not like that at all. Don't get me wrong. I'm against that on all of that happened because I thought he didn't play. But I thought we made some errors along the lines and all over the game. And then as soon as Tony Pollard went down, it's like we really didn't have the firepower to stick with a number one defense. Because they could just bracket CeeDee Lamb and basically where we going. Okay, and I'm gonna show you the stats to show you what I'm talking about, right? So, I ain't got my caption up there. I'm just running my mouth, man. I'm just running my mouth, and they ain't. But anyway, so yeah, that's so. So, and after that, we know Zeke, and look, ain't nobody even talked about that last play because when that last play was going on, I was getting ready to put my video on because I was actually when there was 5 seconds left, I knew the game was over. I knew the game was over. I didn't even talk about, that last ridiculous play with Zeke playing center and got freaking cold cocked, and you hate that to be the last freaking play that guy has, for the Cowboys. But I've heard over the week that he's willing to come back to the Cowboys. He essentially don't want to play for nobody else and will play for a reduced salary, which you pretty much would have to because I would think nobody else but the Cowboys, nobody but Jerry wants to. Look, don't get me wrong. Zeke has some value because there's things that he can do in a game. It's just that by himself, it was nothing he was going to do in that game Sunday that was going to help us at his 2.5, 3 yards of carry, or maybe get a first down on 3rd and 1. Now in hindsight, I wish they'd have given it to him on that 2nd and 2 at the 18-yard line instead of Dak throwing it into double coverage on that little button hook route that Kellen Moore called. I wished he'd have thrown that, had ran it to Zeke and got that first down, and then who knows what might have happened. But we knew after Tony Pollard went down, who's going to threaten the defense. And Fred Warner, as much as said so, we knew when Tony Pollard went down, that was, we got 2 explosive players. Now we're going to show you in some of the stats I'm going to show you. But yeah, there's just a way to do things. Okay. And you don't, when you get out in front of yourself, emotionally like that. That's why you never lead with your emotions. You lead with this. Never lead with your emotions. Okay. Because this is business. Okay. When you emotional, then you do things and you're like, dadgummit, why did I break that TV? I don't know, because you was upset. You should have took a second, counted to 10, and like, okay, what's the best course of action? Okay. We get our emotions in it, and Jerry in the front office got their emotions in that. Jerry's saying he's sick. Well, if you was that sick, why didn't you get Dak some help? And we're getting ready to talk about that. Okay, we're getting ready to talk about that. So we look at the game, and I was looking at something Colin Cowherd had on the day after, and they were looking at the matchup with them and the Eagles, and they looked at the line. They did the top 10 players on each team, and I was looking at all those players on the Eagles and the 49ers. And I'm like, goodness, look at all those players. And then we going at them with CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard and Dak, and then they got McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, Elijah Mitchell, Brandon Ayuk, Defense, you got my man Ekubon, I can't pronounce his name. You got Bosa, you got Fred Warner, and you got Jimmy Ward, and they just got players all up and down the thing, man. You got Trent Williams, it's loaded with players, and I'm like, dang, our roster really don't match up to theirs. When you really start peeling back the layers, we really kind of overachieved this year to get to 12 wins. When you start looking at the thing, when you look at the roster that the 49ers have, when you look at the roster that the Eagles have, and you look at our roster, they're not the same. They are not the same. I don't care what you say. They are not the same. And to prove it to you, I'm going to show you stats. Okay? Because, see, stats are a funny thing. You can always argue stuff, but sometimes you can't argue with numbers. Okay? Now, I know the front office is mad at Dak, but what did they really give Dak? Okay. Now, understand this. Last year in the offseason, what did they do? They was pissy mad at Amari Cooper. They's mad because he didn't get the, whatever, which is fine. I'm not upset with them being mad at that because you can't not get this and then be at all the games and be at all the things where you can susceptible to catch stuff. And then you catch stuff, now you got to miss 2 games. That's just, come on now. If you don't want to get it, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But then you knew there's a certain protocol that you're supposed to adhere to so you can be there for your teammates. And I understand why they was upset with it, but I would have never told it. I would have told anybody, listen, Amari Cooper's the finest receiver in our stable. And maybe you would have got a second round pick for that. You could have turned that into something. You might have turned that into another corner or another something. Okay, but you didn't do that. You got mad and lambasted him in every publication you got. And so when you went to trade him, Cleveland gave you a 5th round pick. Basically, you gave him away. Okay, now, having done that, what did you replace him with? I'll wait. You slid it over to CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb had an amazing season. If you look at the stats there, CeeDee Lamb, 107 catches, which I think is second all time, on 1,359 yards, 9 touchdowns. Okay. But look at the number 2 receiver for us. The number 2 receiver was Dalton Schultz with 55 catches for 500 and I think 55 yards or something like that. And I got it right here. 55 catches, 577 and 5. That's our number 2 receiver. Okay. Our number 2 receiver was Noah Brown with 43 catches. You see the drop off from 107 to 43? That's quite a jump off. That's quite a drop off. Okay? All right? So what you expected Dak to do was to go into the 49ers game with less talent than you had the last time you played them, playing a better team. Because let's make no mistake about it. The 49ers this year are way better than the 49ers last year. What were they, 10-7 and got in as a wild card? Got in on the last day of the season? Got in? They was out of the playoffs until they beat the Rams on the final game of the season. That's how they got in the playoffs. This year, what were they? 13-4. Second best record in the entire league, and won 12 straight games. Got the number 1 defense in the league, and you going in there with CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown and Tony Pollard. Then Tony Pollard gets hurt. So what did you think Dak was going to go throw for 300 yards against the number 1 defense in the NFL with no weapons? Now I'm not excusing the interceptions because they were stupid, but let's be fair here. What did you thought was going to happen when you facing the top defense and you got basically they can just bracket CeeDee Lamb's? Okay, yeah, run that 5-yard button hook with Noah Brown and we'll just tackle him immediately. Run that 2-yard run with Ezekiel Elliott. What are you going to challenge him with? Michael Gallup had no catches. What did he do this year? Now, this is the dude that they paid. Now, that's just what they call helping Dak. They was going to pay the dude that they already had, but he's coming off of an ACL, and he really didn't play but maybe half the season. What did let's see what he had here. Michael Gallup had 39 catches for 424 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, that's your number 2 receiver. 39 catches for 424 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's your number 2 receiver that you're going up against the number 1 defense in the NFL with. Now, as it start to make a little sense here, you know. So basically, we went 12-4 with less talent offensively than we had last year. Because basically, they took Amari off and replaced him with what? Noah Brown, who got, 20 more catches than he had last year. I think he had 16 last year. He had 43 this year. So what is that, 28 different? Something like that. And 3 touchdowns. Big whoop. That's your second. So you, and then on defense, you got bargain basement. You went and got, let's see, you got Anthony Barr on a 1-year deal, like $4 million. You got Darren Armstrong, you signed him for a 3-year deal for like $8 million. He really, bargain basement. Now, you remember you got rid of Randy Gregory, which, that was what, he was going to sign like a 5-year, $70 million contract. When you didn't sign him, you didn't go spend that money. You put that money back into the salary cap. You didn't go spend it, right? You could have went and got some receivers. You could have got Jarvis Landry. You could have got somebody. But no, you ain't want to do that, right? You went and got James Washington for $1 million, a bargain basement receiver, right? You got Dorrance Armstrong, you got Dante Fowler, you got Javon Curse, who's our safety. All those guys are on like 1 year through 2-year, $1 million deals. Okay. Now, as much as we bang on the Eagles, you know what the Eagles did with Jalen Hurts? They went and got Jalen Hurts help. Okay. They traded Carson Wentz and got a pick from that, traded that pick to the Titans in exchange for an number 18 pick, and they used that to get Treylon Burks or whatever. But they turned that in. They got AJ, and then they paid AJ Brown. Okay, they paid AJ Brown, and let me show you the production. Now, what we talking about? Look at what our production of our skill players. Let me show you the Eagles' production. And understand it. The Eagles didn't throw the ball as much as us. Remember that now. Jalen Hurts didn't throw the ball as much. A lot of his games, he's throwing it for like 155 yards. Okay, they run it and throw it. But look at the production that his wide receivers were giving him. Let's look at what they were giving him. Now, while numbers are a stubborn thing here. Let's see here. The number 1 receiver that they got AJ Brown. They went and got him. They spent money. Howie Roseman spends money. They don't stand on the shore and be safe. They go and get stuff. All right. They went and got AJ Brown, and he produced. He came up with 88 catches for 1,496 yards and 11 touchdowns. Essentially, he had a better year than CeeDee Lamb did. He didn't have as many catches, but he had 1,400 yards on 88 catches. Okay. Their number 2 receiver, Devontae Smith, 95 catches for 1,196 yards and 7 touchdowns. That's their number 2 receiver. See? Production. Their number 3 receiver, which is Quez Watkins, had as many catches almost as our number 2 receiver. He had 33 catches for 354 yards and 3 touchdowns. We had Dalton Schultz. Oh, okay. I'll give you Dallas Goedert, 55 catches, 702 and 3. Same amount of catches, more yards, 2 less touchdowns. Running backs, Miles Sanders, 296 rushes, 259 rushes, 1,269 yards, 11 touchdowns. Okay? All of these are weapons. Now, when they play the 49ers Sunday, they're going to look starkly different. And what you're going to do, you're going to grab the low-hanging fruit. Look at what Jalen was able to do and Dak wasn't able to. Yeah, it's amazing. You can build a house and all you got is a hammer and a couple of nails, but the other dude got a production company that can actually build it. It looks a whole lot different. Dang, he built the house in 2 days and you've been fooling with this thing for 2 years. Yeah, but I ain't got but a hammer and 3 nails. You got a production company. Of course you built it quicker than me. Okay? Jalen got weapons. They went out and got him weapons. And not only on offense, on defense. They went out and got Darius Slay. All right? Spent money and got Darius Slay. One of the best cover corners in the NFL. If they wasn't done. You know what they also did? They went out and got James Bradbury. I think they gave a third and a fifth one. We could have got James Bradbury, but we want to go with our young guys. James Bradbury is probably the best second corner. They may be the best tandem in there. We could have had James Bradbury if we was forward thinking, but we didn't do that. We kept going with our normal guy, went with our veteran Anthony Brown, and when he got hurt, we with Kelvin Joseph, and then but every week, and I'm gonna cuss here. Every week, our second corner was getting their asses beat every game. You would see a 50-yard bomb. It was Christian Watkins, Watson 1 week. If it wasn't, it was Pierce from the Colts 1 week. Next week is somebody was burning our number 2 corners every week. For Cooper Kupp, somebody was burning our number 2 receiver. You think if we'd have put James Bradbury in there, maybe that don't happen? But you would have had to spend some money and got that dude. Or use a draft pick. But we didn't do that. They also got Gardner Johnson as a safety. You know, they didn't get a 1-year dude. They went to the Saints and got a real safety. You know, one that, not that, don't get me wrong, I love J-Ron Curse. J-Ron Curse fits what we do. He's good. But I'm just saying, you didn't really commit to anything. You went to the divisional round this year with a less talented team than you had last year because you didn't have Amari Cooper and you didn't really add anything. Oh, you added T.Y. Hilton. Did y'all know y'all could have had T.Y. Hilton at the beginning of the season and maybe he could have learned the offense and probably by the time mid-season come on, he could have been like, learned the offense, been right on top and cue with Dak and whatever. But no, we waited to the third to the last game of the season to go get him. You could have had him all season, okay? But you didn't do that. Okay, so what you're doing is you went out there with less talent, and then now, we paid that $40 million, so we couldn't really afford it. We couldn't really afford to look, dude. Everybody that's got a quarterback, a franchise quarterback, are paying their quarterbacks. Stop saying that. Everybody pays their quarterbacks. All right, the Vikings are paying their quarterback. They're paying Kirk Cousins. You think Jared Goff's not getting paid? He's getting paid. He's getting paid. Okay? All of the starting quarterbacks that are franchise quarterbacks are getting paid. Okay? Now, I would have liked it that Dak took less money, but fine. He didn't. But, I would have, only from the standpoint that Dak made before he got his money. Remember, Dak made the first 4 years only made like $2.5 million in 4 years. You know how much money the Cowboys made off of Dak? And merchandise sales and stuff like that, and you only paying him $2 million. So he should get his money. Now the reason I thought he should have took a little bit less is because Dak is so personable, so he's so articulate. I'm not, ain't nothing funny about me, but he's a nice looking guy, well clean cut, well mannered. Speaks well. You gonna get marketing opportunities. Zeke probably should have figured that out while he was pulling girls' tops down and whatever. He should have figured that out. Hey man, I can make money off the field if I keep myself in line and do some. Well, so Dak makes money, Sleep Number, and there was some yogurt, and I think he does the Direct TV. I think he did a Subway commercial. It was some whole bunch of the soup commercials. It was said that he made about $40-50 million off the field. So if you're getting that kind of cachet off the field, you know what? I ain't got the Cowboys can pay me $28 million, $30 million. I'm making money off I'm good. That way, I can make sure everybody eat. You know what I'm saying? But but being that it's made, he's getting paid, but don't let the front offices, these people fool you. Because what they do, they make you fans hate the players. But in reality, if you understand the nature of NFL contracts, all of these big time contracts have clauses in them where the ownership can go in, take money from it, move money around, and sign whoever they want to sign. Now, when they cry poverty, we can't pay such and such a man, and they get y'all all in y'all's feelings. Yeah, he's making way too much money, that's what they want you to do. They want you to turn against the players. Why? So the player will be shamed into taking less money. That's the whole game. Okay, but normal people, the normal fan, don't know that. But they done went in several times since Dak got that money and took money to pay people. Jerry could have did that. Jerry can do whatever he wants. him and Catboy don't want to do it. They want to stay relevant. They don't want to, take chances. They want to stay relevant. They've taken the cue from the Green Bay Packers. Well, if we just do, just enough, we'll stay 8, 9, 10 wins a season. As long as we stay relevant, that's good enough. As a fan, you ought to be pissed off by that. Because if you have an opportunity, you see what the Rams did. They went there. I know they're not looking that good right now, but they had injuries. They went and got a Von Miller. They went and paid Cooper. They paid Matthew Stafford. They paid Jalen Ramsey. They paid Whitworth. They paid all those dudes. All right? And they got a Super Bowl out of the deal. All right? Now, if they didn't get hurt, they probably go back to the playoffs again this year. But Stafford got hurt. Kupp got hurt. Ramsey wasn't good. Whitworth retired. A whole bunch of other things happened or whatever. And they ain't got no picks. But Tampa Bay did the same thing. They went on and they both got Super Bowls, all right? The Bills did the same thing. They went all in. They went and got Von Miller. They went and got Diggs. And they got some defensive players. They got Jordan Poyer. They went and got guys, all right? Because, that's how you win games. That's how you win. And that's what the Eagles have done. They went in and got guys, okay? And they went from behind us to in front of us. But you want to blame Dak. And I'm not saying Dak ain't without blame. Don't get me wrong. Don't get the thing twisted. I ain't saying that. Dude, those picks were horrible. Okay? But ask yourself a question. Because you knew that Pollard's going to be out for the rest of the year. He's going to be out until about March or April. Okay? Till a little bit before training camp starts. Or the OTAs and whatever. He'll have some rehab and whatever. He probably won't be ready to play until like May or June or whatever. 3 because he had a broken fibula, and then he's got also a high ankle sprain. So he's got a lot going on because he's in a contract year and all this kind of stuff going on too. So that's gonna, whatever we do with him or whatever. But the thing is, now what I want you to understand is you didn't have Pollard. What did you think was gonna happen the rest? Because if we had a fooled around and won that game, you think you're gonna go to Philadelphia and beat the Eagles without Tony Pollard? And basically you're going with CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown and Michael Gallup and T.Y. Hilton, and Zeke Elliott, you was going to beat that team with that offensive lineup. And when you start looking at how much talent we didn't have, damn, how we win 12 games? Dak Prescott must have been pretty daggum good. We won 12 games. I don't know. I just know we had the third most wins in the league. We had back-to-back 12-win seasons. Now, I would have liked for us to have gone further. Like I said, Tony Pollard don't get hurt, man. I would have liked our chances against them. I would have liked our chances the next week against the Eagles had he not got hurt. But he got hurt. And we really didn't have a deep offensive team. So, I mean, I don't know that we would have been – that's a number 2 and a number 1 and a number 4 ranked defense in the league. And you really thought you was going to go up and down the field on them with one, basically you going with a pop gun. You got CeeDee Lamb. And if you got one weapon, a team can take that away from you. So, but yeah, you can. So yeah, the low hanging fruit is beat up Dak. I seen all the memes. They had the thing with, I think it was from Beverly Hills Cop, where Eddie Murphy got thrown out of when he went to the high rise, and he went in talking junk or whatever, and they threw him out, and they had Jerry Jones as the bouncer, and they had Dak Prescott's face as Eddie Murphy, and got thrown out. Basically, that's what he said. Jerry ought to throw Dak. We need to throw Jerry out too, because Jerry's culpable in this too. I don't know why you fans be letting Jerry off the hook like he's doing everything possible to win. Man, you have no idea to check out right to get another Super Bowl. How about you hire somebody to daggum do football operations and get the heck out the way? How about stop doing 50,000 interviews talking stupid and somebody got to go and decipher and diffuse the bomb you done talked about in the thing when you ain't got sense enough not to say certain things. But none of y'all find Jerry culpable in none of it. None of you do. And that's the part that just eats me up, because Jerry is never culpable. He ought to go on and do that. I mean, Jerry deserves what he's getting. Okay? Jerry deserves everything he's getting right now. He's getting backlash now for putting that publication out, doing Dak like that on the team. Think everybody's talking about that because don't nobody else do that. But Jerry sanctioned that. That's his way of, letting folks know he didn't want to pay Dak, so I'm gonna let the public whip him, and that's wrong to do that. If you didn't want to pay him, that government didn't just don't pay him, let him walk. That's what you should have did. But now I'm gonna pay him, and I'm gonna make y'all despise him. That's just evil to me. And y'all, the fact that y'all don't get that is incredulous to me. I'm incredulous by that, But there's a lot of reasons why we didn't win. We didn't win Sunday. Number one, Dak wasn't good enough. Number two, Pollard got hurt. Number three, we didn't have enough weapons to really, without Pollard, to really challenge that team. And then we made some boneheaded plays all around. Why did we not get the players off the field on that punt with like 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes to go? Why it take us 45 seconds to get off the field? And, then what the was that last play? Dalton Schultz can't get out of bounds. Can't drag his foot. Don't understand the rules that, if you get knocked backwards going out of bounds, the clock moves. Why don't you so averse to contact? Because that's what always been my criticism of Dalton Schultz, that he will not block it, although you 251 pounds, I'm just going to put my hands on the guy. I'm not going to try to mix it up. Dude, you be a man and daggum hit somebody for once? And you got knocked backwards, and that cost us, precious time and seconds and stuff. And then lazy, didn't get your foot down with nobody around you. You caught one foot and drug the other foot out of bounds and didn't put it down. Just inexcusable. So there was a lot of reasons why we didn't win that game. And I said I put Dak at the top of it, but do not let Jerry in the front office and Catboy off the hook, because they did enough they didn't do enough to help Dak, or they didn't do enough to better this team. So now going forward, DeAndre Hopkins is supposedly available. Go get DeAndre Hopkins to pair with CeeDee Lamb, and let's see what happens. If you go into the league next year with Michael, I don't know what happened to Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup, we paid him. He had the injury, and was not. I don't know. He was just. I don't know. I don't know what happened with him. He was. I mean, he had a couple of games where he caught some touchdown, a nice touchdown catch he had in the back of the end zone against Tampa Bay, but he didn't have a single. He was goose egg in this game. And Michael Gallup got a 1,000-yard season back in 2019. I think it was his rookie season. He had 1,000 yards. Might have been 20. No, it was 19. It was 19. He had 1,000 yards on 66 catches. Okay, where is that guy at? And see, I think Jerry thought that guy was, instead of just paying another guy, I'll just pay him medium wide receiver money. 5 years and $63 million is like medium of the pack, middle of the pack receiver money. Okay, receivers are getting $20 million a year for good receivers. That's like 13 and a half a year. That's like middle of the pack. But he's loyal because he got hurt, and you got what you paid for. You could have went and got Jarvis Landry. You could have went and got some of these other receivers. You could have got, we could have got A.J. Brown, just like they got, like the Eagles got. We could have got it, all right? But nope, we don't want to do that. We're gonna get James Washington and pat a cake with him all season. He don't catch a catch and waste the whole season. And we're going to go get T.J. Hilton, 3 games left in the season, and basically go with CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown and Michael Gallup. That's your team. But anywho, so that's all I wanted to show y'all, that when you stack the teams up for real, our team really was not as, and I see some chats. I see some folks in the chat. No, we didn't have no 2 wide receivers over 1,000 yards. Oh, we must be talking about the Eagles. Yeah, you got 2. But what people, what you don't get here? Let me let y'all in on some stuff. CeeDee Lamb caught 1,300 and something yards of passes from Dak. So obviously, you just being hateful and talking about Dak, because apparently CeeDee Lamb had 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. Somebody caught them passes. Somebody threw them passes. All right. So when he had Amari had 1,000-yard seasons. So what do you mean? You got Jalen Hurts, whom I love, but let's not get it twisted. Jalen Hurts is successful throwing the ball because he's facing one-on-one coverage because y'all running the ball so much. And you got to have linebackers and safeties at the line of scrimmage. He's going against it's one-on-one coverage. Dak never sees one-on-one coverage like that because our running game is not systematic like that. And credit to y'all, y'all put a system around him. We didn't put a system around Dak. They should have did that when they changed play callers in 2019. They should have did that. They should have. Let's get us a offensive system that suits built around Dak. If you go back and watch the film from Dak at Mississippi State, he was basically Jalen Hurts. Go watch the tape. Go watch the tape. He was Jalen Hurts. Zone read, quarterback draws, sprint draws, throw it every now and then, throw it when play action. That's what he did. He wasn't no drop back passer, but they force-fed him into the Tony Romo offense. I know this. This is what they did. They running the same plays they ran with Romo. And oddly enough, Tony Romo had 6 playoff games. You know what his record was? 2-4. Dak Prescott has had 6 playoff games. You know what his record is? 2-4. And I heard the same thing when Romo was quarterback. Man, if we just get a better quarterback, we just get a better quarterback. And we done had different quarterbacks, different offensive systems, different defensive systems, different all these different things, different offensive coordinators, different defensive coordinators, different all that. Who's the constant? The constant is Jerry Jones. And the same thing we're saying today, we were saying in 2014, 13, 14, and 15, 9 years ago. Simple-minded fans blame the players. People that read and understand things understand that it's organizational, how things are done. It's organizational. It's easy just to blame the players. That's easy. That don't take that's low-hanging fruit. And it's got to be Dak. Okay, you replace Dak with they still didn't get him no weapons. And you can talk about all these other guys that are the top quarterback. They got weapons. Anybody on a Cowboys team, anywhere like a Travis Kelce? Okay, we like Joe Burrow. He got Jamar Chase, Boyd, and T. Higgins. Anybody on our team? And then in the backfield, they got P. Ryan and Joe Mixon. Anybody on our team on that level? He's a good quarterback, but he got weapons. They didn't send him out there with 5, number 5 receivers, and they sent him. They gave him 10s, 9s, and 10s. He don't have 5s, and he's making it work. So all I'm saying is it's low hanging fruit. People got to start thinking beyond. Don't think beyond the end of your nose. You got to see beyond that. That Dak Prescott last year, you do know he threw for 400 yards and 37 touchdowns last year. Why are you saying that he's like, garbage when he had 2 receivers, 37 and 10? Okay. You do know he also has 4,000 yard seasons with 30 touchdowns in 2019 also. Okay. While I'm not saying he's Pro Bowler or none of that, he's a good enough quarterback that if you put weapons around him, you would win. People got this notion that only the top quarterbacks win Super Bowls. I believe Matthew Stafford won last year. Nobody's mistaking him to be the best quarterback in the league. If you take Tom Brady out of the equation, you left with what? Russell Wilson, when Russell Wilson was a bus driver. You left with Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning was a shell of himself, but the team around him was good. What are you left with? Joe Flacco. Ain't nobody thinking about Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's is not a great quarterback, but he won a Super Bowl because the team around him was good enough. You ain't got to handle the quarterback. Don't have to be Patrick Mahomes to win a Super Bowl. And if you look at it, the great quarterbacks only won a handful of. How many Super Bowls Aaron Rodgers got? He got 1, and he gets knocked out of the playoffs the first round every year. How many Super Bowls Josh Allen got? He don't have any. And he got knocked out of the same round that we did, right? So it's what you need to have. The team has to be strong in all areas. It ain't just the quarterback. And y'all got to start being smarter than that. Okay. Yeah, they got 2 receivers over 1,000 yards. Uh, Smitty with 12. Now, Smitty actually, AJ actually had, AJ Brown had 1496, which is like I said, right at 15. And Smitty had 1196, which is right at 1200. And he had 95 catches too. Now, you'd have to go 3 deep on our receiver thing to get 95 catches. That's what I'm saying. On less throws, because the Eagles throw it less than we do, okay, because y'all run it so much. Look at the production, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Um, I mentioned Goddard. I guess you didn't see the video. I mentioned Goddard in the video. He actually had the same amount of catches that Dalton Schultz had, but for more yards. He had 702 yards to Dalton Schultz's 557. Okay, so that's what I'm saying is the production. What Hurts has at his disposal is like far superior to what Dak has at his disposal. I don't know why y'all don't see that. Y'all gave up a 3rd round and a 5th round for James Bradbury. What I'm saying is we could have done that. James Bradbury was there for anybody that would have got. And it was amazing that the Giants gave him up within the division, because usually teams don't give up good players within the division. That's like a taboo. You don't do that. But they did it. We could have had James Bradbury instead of having our number 2 corner getting his ASS whipped every game. We could have had James Bradbury, but nobody did that in the front office. We got to start holding these front offices accountable for the moves they make and for the moves they don't make. You quit just throwing it on the player. Well, he didn't get it. The player didn't get it done. What tools do you have to do it with? I go back to my thing. I can build a house in a couple of days if I got a production crew. But if I'm doing it with a couple of nails and a hammer and I got to go cut my wood down, it's going to take me years. So, but he don't turn the ball over. He got 6 interceptions. It ain't like he had no interceptions. He got 6. Now don't get me wrong, but the thing is, we're asking Dak to do more than they're asking Jalen to do. That's the thing. That's why he's turning the ball over so much. He's asked to do too much with less talent. If y'all had Jalen throwing the ball 35, 40 times, he'd have 12 interceptions also. They're not asking him to do that. That's the difference. They're not asking Jalen to throw the ball, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't. He should throw it about 15, 20 times and run it about 15, 20 times. That's the beauty of y'all's offense. I love y'all's offense. I love that offense. It's like what he was running when he was at Alabama. I love that offense. But they're not asking him to throw it 35 times a game. Now, he might throw for 300 yards, but it's going to be on like 22 completions because he get the deep one because it's one-on-one coverage. Because everybody's up on the line of scrimmage trying to stop the run. Y'all understand the concept of football, right? If the team don't think you can run it that well, they got 4 and 5 guys back in the secondary. And you're up against zone defenses. But a running quarterback will never see zone defense because you got your back to the quarterback. And then he can just run it up your backside. They have to play man-to-man, which is a simpler defense to operate against. Come on now, watch some Kurt Warner to understand the concepts of football. There's a reason why this is how it is. A running quarterback always faces a man-to-man defense because they sometimes will have a guy as a spy to watch him while the other guys is running. But it's an easier defense to complete passes on because it's one-on-one coverage and it's man-to-man. When you're in zone, you got guys cutting underneath guys and stuff like that. But Jalen never sees that because all those guys are on the line of scrimmage because you never know if he's going to keep it, he's going to pitch it, or if he's going to, roll with it or what. It's too many things that he can do at the line of scrimmage that you got to commit guys to the line of scrimmage to do that you can't have the guy. You can't be in both places. So it's going to be interesting how they fare against the 49ers. And of course, what everybody will say Sunday, man, look how well their offense ran against them. Why Dak couldn't do that? Because his offense ain't set up like that. It's just different. And you got Kellen Moore calling 5-yard button hook routes. Kellen Moore probably need to go. But let me get off of here, man. I didn't expect to be in here this long. I didn't really want to be here this long. But the chats, man, I like the chats, man. I like the back and forth. Uh, I don't know about that, Gene. Uh, I don't know if I'd say. Um, I ain't gonna say we need to get rid of Diggs. I just think that Diggs, if he wants to be uh, a full corner dude, you got to mix it up some. I'm not saying you got to be um, Jalen Ramsey. I'm not saying you got to be. Uh, I don't know if you guys remember back in the day. What's my guy's name? He's played for the 49ers. I don't know if y'all remember Ronnie Lott. That's back in my era. I was a teenager when I remember him. But he's a cover corner, but man, he would hit you. I'm not saying he got to be that guy, but you can't be running by guys when balls are getting popped up in the air and juggled up in the air, and you running by the guy and not trying. That could have been a big play if he'd have knocked that pass there. I think that was third down. And then like I said, he gives up some stuff, but I'm not gonna say we got to replace Diggs because he's the only corner we got that can cover. We trying to get a compliment to him that don't get their butts whooped on every other on every nine route. We got to get a guy that can you know cover somebody. Kevin Joseph couldn't cover, and I like Deron Bland, but he's a rookie. He might get better. And McCollum, I like both of them guys. But I sure would have went and got James Bradbury if the front office was thinking. But But the front office is all in. We'll just build from the draft because it's cheaper to build from the draft. But dude, you a $8 billion franchise. Why are you acting like you supposed to shop at Walmart? You don't have to shop for your stuff at Walmart. You don't have to do that. And when you come up, not do as much as you should have done, and then the quarterback. And I'm not gonna say. I keep saying it, and I'm gonna go off here. What did you expect Dak to do when you went up against the same team they played last year with less talent than he had the year before? Because there was no Amari Cooper, and he didn't have nobody comparable to him that was left, and you got CD and whatnot, and you had nobody on, and you basically with the same team, less Amari Cooper, but I'm supposed to end on the road, and I'm supposed to beat that team. And hats off to the defense for keeping the game close. But what was he supposed to do? How many points was he supposed to generate against the number one defense? That's what I want to know. What he had to do it with. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Now ain't nobody taking Dak off the hook because don't at the end of the day, don't throw picks. You can't throw picks. And them wasn't like, I'm challenging the D. That was like lollipops. Like, what are you doing? Like those were picks like a first year quarterback would throw. That's what I'm saying. And you can't throw as long as he's been in the league. He should be almost assisting the offensive coordinator because for as much as he's seen, that's my problem with Dak. And so he's got to wear that. And maybe some of that stuff that them people, and I'm gonna close with this. I was hearing last year that he was approached, or it was broached to him that maybe Troy would work with him with some stuff. I think Romo offered to work with him on some stuff. Come to the Star, and that's and show him some stuff. Because as much as film as Romo have to watch to do what he do, he sees stuff. And hey, both of them have been Cowboy quarterback, and all of them want the Cowboys to do well. So they ain't like, oh, I'm gonna set you up for failure. No, they all want the Cowboys to do well. They won't tell you that, but they do. So they would help you. You can't be too prideful to take help when people are offering to help you. I will stand on that. If you don't know it all, or somebody's been where you've been and knows more than you know, or why would you not apply? Petition them for help. And they don't make you no less of a man. It don't make you nothing. I would much rather do that than get them throw two picks and have the team throwing me under the bus. I bet you wish you'd done it now. How you looking right now? But like I said, it ain't all his fault. Jerry got to do better. Jerry, you ain't got too many more rising and settings of the sun, as the old folks used to say. You might want to stop trying to be spiteful and do the thing right. If you know the team needs players, go get the players. And quit trying to quit trying to turn the fans against the players. That's just dirty pool to me. But anyway, that's all I got, man. I had to rant and today and get this stuff off of me. But yeah, man, don't make it no better. We still taking the L. We got a lot of off-season stuff to work on. A lot of them 1 year guys probably not coming back. Anthony Barr probably not coming back. I don't know if J. Ron Curse is coming back. I don't know what years, but I know Dorrance Armstrong is coming back, and I know some of them defensive linemen, Odigazua and all those guys, they'll be back. But some of the other guys probably not coming back. So we're gonna have to do some stuff. And don't be saying, well, Dak took all the money. Them guys have always been able to go into those guys' contracts that make those kind of deals and get money out to pay whoever they want. They've always been able to do that, you know. But the owners and the front office don't tell you that because they want you to want the players, to force the players, or pressure the players, or talk down to the players to make them take less money. Y'all got smart. Be smarter than that. Be smarter than that. Okay. But that's all I got, man, from the desk of Uncle Fred. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred. And subscribe, people, all these people watching, man, like the video and subscribe, man. It ain't gonna cost you nothing. And the sooner I get to the 1,000 whatever threshold, I can start putting some graphics and stuff on this thing. Come on now. But that's all I got, man. Good talking with all y'all today on the Cowboys. Fallout from the divisional game, but it's gonna be all right though. It's gonna be all right. Sun will rise tomorrow, and the Cowboys will kick it off sometime August or September next year, and we'll do this thing all over. So we'll catch you guys. We'll be on Saturday with our conference championship game predictions. Me and TK. We'll catch you on Saturday about 9:30 Saturday morning, and we'll talk about that stuff. But like I said, like, comment, subscribe, become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I'll guarantee you will not be disappointed. God bless you.
Two times on the beat.